There is a massive amount of people that just want a normal sized phone or even a smaller sized phone option, because the normal sized phones in today's market are significantly bigger than they used to be 10 years ago. With the standard of phones getting bigger and bigger every year, I want to talk about why Apple needs to bring back the Mini or potentially change their SE into a Mini. Let's talk tech. My name is Arnell with Arnley Tech. The 13 Mini was the last mini-sized phone that was honestly, in my opinion, the last phone that you can reasonably hold and use with one hand. It fit great in the hand, you can reach all four corners very easily and accessibly, and for people that don't have gigantic hands, this really brings them back to the older iPhones of like the iPhone 4, the iPhone 5, the SE, the first generation, really brings it back to a more user-friendly, pocketable sized phone. Now, we did do a video on the iPhone 13 Mini specifically. If you want to check that out, I have it linked right up here. But what I think that Apple really needs to do is consider making the next generation SE in a mini-sized form factor. We already have the 13 Mini body, which they carried over from the 12 Mini. It's honestly a pretty easy swap to just do the next generation SE with a 13 Mini body, but upgrade some of the internals. This can easily be done with the chip from the 14, maybe even the camera from the 14, the main lens and the ultra wide, and the telephoto would be nice as well in the SE. And you can even spice things up by putting in the dynamic island from the 14 Pro. This would be especially useful since there are rumors that the next generation 15s will all have the dynamic island, and it will help it feel very uniform and just very fitting in the family. And it will help this new generation of the SE looks like it fits in this new Apple lineup. It is also no secret that Apple is eventually heading in the trend of doing a portless phone. And what would be so unique about this is that if they did this in the SE, in this mini-sized phone that's already going to be getting a little bit more of the niche consumer base, they're able to experiment with something so drastic like removing the charging port and making charging completely wireless so that they can see how the crowd and just the general populace reacts to a portless phone. And honestly, if it goes in complete uproar and nobody is happy about it and nobody's even buying the phone, then they know that we're just not ready for a portless phone. Now, before I get into how Apple can realistically do this and not throw too much money down the drain, I just want to remind you to drop a like and hit that subscribe button, as that is the biggest way you can help support Ardently Tech. So listen, while I think that there is a massive number of people that really enjoy the Mini, the sad reality is that the iPhone 13 Mini only made up 3% of all iPhone sales during its initial months of its release. So while there are a lot of people that enjoy the mini-sized phone and there are a lot of people actually talking about it, there are only a few people that actually went out there and bought it and supported it with their money. However, that being said, there is still a massive number of people that still want a normal sized phone. With the increasingly big popularity of iPads and smart TVs really becoming a common staple in many homes, the number of people actually relying on using their phone as their main device to consume media is dwindling by the day. Because why use your phone, which is probably the smallest screen in your house in many houses, why use that to consume your media when you can watch something on your iPad or your smart TV? So because of that, the need for a ridiculously large size phone like the 14 Plus and just some of the bigger phones that are out there, the need for that as a main staple that many people are going to want to use is eventually dwindling day by day. Now, the number one way that I think that Apple can actually bring back a mini phone or change the next generation SE to be in a mini-sized form factor, but have it make sense financially, is they can simply change their model for this mini-sized phone in particular. They don't necessarily need to change their whole lineup, but for this mini-sized phone, they could change their model to where they are only updating it every 2 to 3 years, rather than doing all of the research and development, all the product testing, all the case form factors and everything else that they're doing in their assembly line, and altering these things every single year. For this to make sense, they can make one design that they keep for 2 to 3 years, and every couple of years they do an update to it. That way they can see this mini-sized form factor as less of a whimper of a dying flame in sales and more of a slow burn for it to make sense in the long run. But that being said, I'm gonna wait and see if the iPhone 15 mini will actually come to fruition, or if the next generation SE takes the smarter approach and just goes into a mini-sized form factor. But for now, if you are somebody that is looking for a reasonable sized phone, but you wanna know my thoughts on it, the things that I love and the things that I don't like, definitely watch this video on the iPhone 13 mini where I go over all the things that I love and those things I don't like. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.